guys, it's Hazel here at The Right Coffee Girl, and this week I wanted to talk to you about 10 epic forms of content marketing that you can use in your business. Content marketing is a term that gets bandied around quite a lot in online circles, especially when it comes to running your own business and how you can grow your business and market your business. But one question that I have found myself getting asked an awful lot lately, in addition to what is content marketing, is what exactly can you use as content for your content marketing? So what different forms of content marketing are there? The one that most people are familiar with is blogging. But beyond that, people seem to get a bit stuck and they're not really sure exactly what is and isn't content marketing and how they can expand past their blog to put out loads of other great content to help market their business and attract new clients. So today I'm going to run through the top 10 forms of content marketing that will do wonders for your business. The first of which, I mentioned it a minute ago, is blogging. Now, if you have a website, you almost certainly already have a blog, even though you're not using it. Most websites come with them built in. If you don't have a website, it's extremely easy to set one up. You can do it completely free on a site like WordPress and a lot of other sites that will let you host your own blog. Or you can set one up very, very cheaply by buying your own domain name and using something like WordPress or Wix or any other kind of website building software or portal. Well, some social media accounts like Twitter and Instagram limit the number of characters that you can put on a post. There are other platforms that will happily let you host blog posts on your social media site. LinkedIn is a great example of this. They have a really easy to use portal for uploading your own posts and promoting them on your profile. Facebook is another one that you can very easily use to publish longer written posts than you would usually get. And while it doesn't exactly host it as you would expect a blog to be hosted with separate posts that you can click through onto pages, there are ways of ensuring that they end up as articles which are accessible when you click on a particular link on your profile. If you are planning to use blogging as a form of content marketing though, I really do recommend that you do it primarily through a website. If you have an existing website, start blogging right now. It will do wonders for your website, both in terms of SEO and visibility, but also in enabling you to start drawing people in using your content and promoting your products and services through your content. But the whole point of content marketing is getting people where you need them to be. And the reason it's so useful to host your blog on your website is because most of the time when you have a website, you sell things through that website, and getting people onto your site and getting people to stay on your site is the key to selling your stuff. If you don't sell your stuff through a website, then it can work quite well using your social media to post longer posts than you normally would without having to worry about using an actual blog in the traditional sense. That being said, in today's world of online marketing, having a website is kind of standard. So if you are running a business and you are seriously trying to market a product or service, then having a website really is a no-brainer, to be perfectly honest with you. But there are loads of different ways you can use content marketing to help you grow your business and promote your business, but they all have to lead somewhere. They all have to send people to something. Now, if you have a bricks and mortar business, you can actually do this through social media alone without the use of a website. I'm not sure I'd necessarily recommend it, but it's certainly possible. There are businesses that don't bother with a website at all. They just have very active social media accounts and they post their content on the social media, and through their social media they drive people to their bricks and mortar business and they use their content to promote themselves that way. Generally speaking though, it's a very good idea to have a website, so if you don't already, you really should get one. I talk a lot about blogging in my other posts, so I'm not going to dwell too much on the ins and outs of exactly what you should do in order to blog for your content marketing. Instead, I'm going to refer you to another post that I've already recorded, which is called the Golden Trident, which touches on exactly what you need to do to maximise your blogging efforts. So do check that out if you haven't watched it already. Now, blogging is the one that pretty much everybody's heard of, and even if you're not doing it already, you're likely already aware of the fact that you should be doing it. There are several other kinds of content marketing though that you can and should be making the most of, that you may have heard about but not necessarily realise they were content marketing, or you know full well that they're content marketing but you don't think they're for you. And that's going to be for one of two reasons. Either you're not aware of the potential they have and how powerful they can be in helping you market your business, or you have a personal issue with doing them. And this next one is one of the ones that most people have a personal issue with and have absolutely no idea how powerful they can be, and that is vlogging. And that is what I'm doing right now as I talk into this camera. So a vlog is literally a video blog. It's basically a video version of a blog. So a blog post is a written post that you have on your website or on your social media or any other place that you can host written content. A vlog can take loads of different forms, but the most common form in business marketing and in content marketing is the form that I'm using right now, and that is to record what you would be saying if you were writing a blog post. So some people write their blog posts as they would normally, stick it on an auto cue and read it into the camera. Other people do what I'm doing at the moment, and that is they just do it off the cuff without a script, either because they don't have an auto cue, which to be perfectly honest is why I don't currently do it like that, because I don't have an auto cue, or because they prefer that kind of natural flow and the way that they talk into the camera. It doesn't matter how you record your videos, and it doesn't even matter if your videos take a different form. So some people like to record themselves as they're going about their daily tasks to give people a little bit of kind of behind the scenes look into their life and their business and how everything runs. They take their camera around with them everywhere and show themselves, you know, going in the car, going to the shops, going to meetings, doing work, doing yoga, doing whatever else it is that they do in the day. And I think a lot of people, when they hear the word vlog, that's what they think of initially, that it's like almost like a diary, like a journal entry of your personal stuff that you've been doing and behind the scenes stuff that you're doing, and they don't necessarily think that it is literally in essence just a video version of a blog. Which is why you get a lot of people who have weekly videos that they do every week. So they'll have a YouTube channel and they'll publish a video every single week, once a week without fail, just like this, of them sitting talking into the camera, or them standing outside talking to the camera, or them just being somewhere and speaking directly into the camera. And then they'll have separate videos that take a totally different format, which is just them sitting about with a camera basically and taking videos of themselves doing loads of random stuff, and they cut it together and they put it up and they call it, you know, a vlog. And they'll separate the two out, and they'll have their normal weekly posts which have a set format like this, and then they'll have their vlogs which are basically whatever they happen to be doing at the time. And they're not wrong in calling them that at all. Any kind of video content is or can be a vlog. But I think the issue there, if you can call it an issue, is that it gives the impression that that's the only kind of video content that is a vlog, is that sort of personal, you know, day in the life type thing. Whereas in reality, anything that you want to record as a video is essentially a vlog. Just as you can write about anything you like in a blog post and put your blog post in any format that you like and it still is a blog post, you can talk about or discuss or do anything you like in a video and record it in any format you like, and it is still a vlog if you release it as a vlog. Now, when it comes to vlogging, there are a few things that you will definitely need. You will need some form of camera to record your videos. You will need a way of uploading those onto a computer and editing them at least a little bit. and you will need somewhere to host them. Now the easiest place to do that is on YouTube, which means that you can upload your videos whenever you like, and you can then embed them on anywhere else that you need to put them. So you can add them to your website, you can share links to them on your social media, you can basically get them anywhere you need them to be once they're on YouTube. It is definitely worth you uploading your videos to certain platforms separately, however, Facebook being the most important one. If you want to share your videos on Facebook, for the purposes of building your Facebook page, for searchability, for engagement, and for loads of other amazing reasons, you really should upload your videos directly to Facebook and host them on Facebook rather than sharing links from YouTube on your Facebook page. The main reason this is so important is that Facebook is very, very biased. So if you have a video that is hosted on Facebook and you share it, Facebook will show it to more people than they would do if you just shared a link to a YouTube video. It is that simple. So to get the most out of your videos on Facebook, you need to upload them to Facebook. The other great benefit of doing that is that there is then a video tab on your Facebook page, which is very easily found. So if your followers want to watch your videos that you've uploaded previously, they know exactly where they are and they can find them really easily. Whereas if you share a link, unless it happens to be the one post that you pin at the top of your page, and remember you can only do that with one post, they would have to scroll through your whole newsfeed to find them, and there would be no way for them to know that they were there in the first place. So unless they happen to have seen your video when you posted it, remembered it, and then taken the time and effort to go all the way back through your Facebook page to find it, which is not likely, they're just not really going to look at it. So if you want to get the maximum engagement possible, you want to upload it onto Facebook so it appears in your video tab, and you really make the most of it. As with blogging, I've done loads of other posts on vlogging, so do make sure you check those out. The next type of content marketing that is really, really popular and can do absolute wonders for your business is podcasting. Now, this is not one that I have any personal experience with. I'm not a huge fan of podcasts. I don't listen to them myself, and I don't have one. I may start one at some point, but at this point I'm just not focused on that, and that is purely down to personal preference on my part. So like I said before, when there is a type of content that you're not using, it's usually for one of two reasons. Either you don't understand how effective it can be, or you have a personal hang up with it that just makes you not want to do it. For me, that is podcasting. It's important for you to find the type of content that works best for you. Just because there are lots of different kinds of content marketing that you can use, it doesn't mean that you should or have to use all of them. So if you love blogging and you are really just not interested in doing anything else, then stick to your blog. You can absolutely make a content marketing strategy work brilliantly with just one kind of content. It just happens to be that it usually works a lot better if you add in some extras. Promoting your blog posts is an awful lot easier if you also have social media posts that you use to promote your blog content, which is two separate kinds of content marketing working together to create an overall strategy that's a lot stronger. If you then add extra kinds of content in, like videos or a podcast, you can make that stronger still. But content really only works as well as it should do when you're thoroughly invested in it and when you're confident in it and when you're comfortable with it. So if you really, really hate the notion of sitting down in front of a video camera and recording videos like I'm doing now, if you just can't stand the thought of it, there is absolutely no point in making yourself do it. Because there are other ways to use content marketing to promote your business that don't give you that awful kind of ick that make you feel bad. So if there are any kinds of content on this list that you get that kind of icky, oh, I really don't want to do that feeling, don't worry about it at all. You can just skip those. Don't force yourself to do something that you're not comfortable doing. Your audience can tell. They know when you're not really happy with something. They know when you're not really into doing something and when you're not really invested in it. The other option is obviously to outsource it and to get somebody else to do it for you. The problem with both videos and podcasts is that even if you get somebody to write them for you, which you can absolutely do. It's a service that I provide for my clients, is to write the scripts for them and they then record them. But that's the issue. They still have to actually record. The big benefit of podcasting and using other audio content is that you can get the multimedia benefit that comes with video without people actually having to see you. So I know a lot of people, the reason they don't like the idea of recording videos of themselves is because they're self-conscious about the way they look. And to be perfectly honest, I put off starting a vlog for a very long time for that exact reason. I was very self-conscious about the fact that people would be able to see me all the time. Recording audio content is a brilliant way of getting around that. If you're camera shy, but you don't mind people hearing your voice, it's the perfect medium to use. It also depends on your ideal client and your audience and how they're going to be absorbing your content. So if your ideal client is really busy and constantly rushed off their feet, maybe they're parents, maybe they're already working another job and they're trying to start a business on the side, or maybe they just have an awful lot of other commitments and they enjoy absorbing their content while they're in the car, or while they're out on their morning jog, or while they're doing the dishes, cleaning the house, whatever. If they just like being able to listen without having to read anything, without having to watch anything, then the audio version is the perfect medium for them, because it makes it really, really easy for them to access your content, and they can listen to it as much as they like when they're, you know, driving the kids to school, or doing whatever, you know, sort of household chores they have to do, when they're walking the dog. It doesn't matter where they are or what they're doing, they can always listen. So when you're considering what kind of content to use, that is one really, really important thing to bear in mind. Not just what you are most comfortable with creating, but also what your ideal clients will be most comfortable absorbing and the manner in which they will find it easiest to absorb your content, because the easier you make it for them, the more effective it will be. Now, another kind of video marketing that you can use that's really, really beneficial for your business are webinars. These are fantastic list builders. They are one of the best lead magnets you can use. Are running free webinars online, and you can also record them when you do them live, and then have them available later as recorded content that you can either give away for free as part of an opt-in, as part of a, you know, sort of an autoresponder sequence, or you can actually charge for them, you know, package them up in a course, and make some passive income from them. So webinars are possibly one of the most multifunctional types of content that you can create. Video in general is really, really versatile. If you create a blog post, all you have is a written blog. If you create a video, whether it's a vlog or a webinar, you can have that transcribed. You end up with both the video content and the written content. You can convert it into an audio format, so you can use it as a podcast, you can use it as an audio file, or an MP3 download. You can take the written version, chop it up into little bits and use it as you know, social media posts or various other pieces of content. But webinars kind of go one step beyond that and say you're not just going to have the benefit of having it in video content that you can convert into every other type of content. You're going to record it in the first instance live rather than pre-recording it, which gives you a lot more options in terms of growing your list, attracting interest. You know, people can ask you questions on a live webinar, they can talk to you, they can interact with you, they can really get to know you, like you, and trust you a lot more when you're live. And in addition to that, you still get all the great benefits of having video content. One thing I will say, if you are going to create webinars, make the most of them. Make sure you advertise them as much as you can beforehand, whether that's paid advertising or just sort of networking and spreading out the word as much as you can on your own. Get as many people pre-registered for it as you can before you go live. When you do go live, make sure you have additional content that you can give people on the webinar. So free downloads that you give at various points throughout the webinar are really useful. And just extra bonuses for people that will keep them watching to the end. So at the beginning of the webinar you can say, you know, stick around because I have this great offer, or I have a great discount, or I have this wonderful you know, free course, or you know, whatever your offer is. Make sure you mention it at the start, but don't give it to them until the end, so they actually have to stick around and watch for the whole thing. That's really, really important. And of course at the end of your webinar, take the opportunity to pitch something, a paid product or a paid service, or something that's actually going to earn you some money, because people expect that of webinars. You know, they're quite hip to this format now. They understand that if they get an hour of your time for free, of you teaching them something on a webinar, that they can expect at the end of that you will pitch them something. You will say to them, you know, I hope you've enjoyed what I've taught you today. If you'd like more of that, then you can get it this way. And most people, they don't mind that, and if they do mind that, they'll tune out before you get to that point. So you'll never have people sitting there listening to you pitch something to them who are getting annoyed with you for pitching it, because if they don't want to listen to it, they will literally just stop listening. But a lot of people will be interested, and they will want more, and the fact that they've already had an amazing webinar with you, and you know, they've had the opportunity to understand how good the content that you have to offer is. By the time they get to the end of the webinar, they'll be sat there thinking, wow, you know, if this is your free stuff, then I want more, and also how much better must your paid stuff be if this is how good the stuff you're giving away for free is. So don't be afraid to stick that pitch at the end. A lot of people get gun shy when it gets to that point, and they feel like they shouldn't, so they don't, and it's just a huge opportunity that you've missed. Other opportunities that you will very likely miss with webinars, either because you don't think about it or because you feel a bit icky about doing it. Have an autoresponder sequence set up long before you actually do the webinar, to make sure that everybody that pre-registers for the webinar is reminded about it, so they get as much opportunity as possible to actually jump on the webinar live. Then make sure that they have reminders sent out to them with a replay, so that the ones that couldn't make it to the live event, because we're all very busy people, so some people won't be able to make it to the live event, can still watch it. And then after that, don't be afraid of having a nice strong sequence in place that will promote the pitch that you have at the end of the webinar. Okay, so whatever it is you're promoting, whether it's a service or a program that you're selling or a particular product, whatever it is, your autoresponder sequence should include several sales emails that sort of build up to offer them this product or service, and really, really sell it to them. So make sure you don't skip any of those steps. And when you've done all of that, you can take the recorded version of your webinar and you can do one of two things with it. You can keep it as free content that you offer, that's freely available, that you then set up basically an automated version of everything that you did live. So rather than it being a live webinar that you do again and again, you have the pre-recorded version of it that people will sign up for, and then they can watch it pretty much as soon as they sign up for it, and they still get the autoresponder sequence, they still get all the great content. The only difference is it's not live, so they can't actually ask you questions while you're on it. The other option is to use it as part of a paid product or service that you then later give away for free. So you do it once as a free webinar, as free content, and when you're advertising it, you'll say, you know, this is all my best stuff on this. This is a one-time only thing. It's the only time I'm going to do it for free. After this, this is going to be a paid product that you're going to have to pay £15 to watch, or £50 to watch, or 100 or 500, or however much it is. You can package it up as a single low-cost thing that you can use as part of your sales funnel, or you can put it in a larger course and use it as one video, in a series that you put together and sell as a larger course. It doesn't matter. There's so many things that you can do. And don't forget that you can get it transcribed and you can use that written content everywhere else as well. While we're on the subject of video, social media posts. There are lots and lots of different forms of social media posts. Written ones in the forms of tweets and status updates, and then you have photographs, and you have videos, and you have loads and loads of different things. Basically any kind of content that you can think of, you can put on social media in one form or another. I'm not going to go into the minutiae of all the types of social media posts that you can use in this. There are a couple that I want to highlight as being particularly powerful when it comes to content marketing, and the first one is live posts. So we've just talked about how powerful live webinars can be. Live Facebook posts can be just as effective. So you can even do webinars live on some of your social media platforms. So Facebook Live is particularly good for longer ones like that. You can do a Facebook Live for, you could do a full hour webinar on Facebook Live if you wanted to. You can also record live stories on Snapchat and on Instagram. Exactly which social media platform that you use for your live streaming is entirely up to you. It's, again, a matter of your personal preference, so which one you're comfortable with. But possibly even more important than that is which platform your ideal client are on. It's no good doing Facebook Lives if all your ideal clients are on Instagram. It's no good doing, sort of Instagram stories if all your ideal clients are on Twitter. You need to make sure you're putting your content out on the platform that your ideal client is most likely to see it on, and in the format that they are most likely to absorb it in. While we're on the subject of social media, memes are another absolutely brilliant form of content marketing. So some of the really popular social media platforms like Instagram and Pinterest are all about images. You actually can't post anything on them without including an image on it. So a meme isn't just an image. A meme is an image plus, shall we say. So it's an image with text on it, basically. So images alone can be really, really powerful. And you can post images with written content attached to them. But when I say a meme, what I mean is an image which has written content on the actual image. So it's the kind of posts that you see that go viral really, really quickly and really, really easily. They tend to be very eye-catching and very simple, so they're not bogged down with lots of words. They're not really, really busy. They're not confusing. Or if they are confusing, they're confusing in a kind of enigmatic way that makes you pause and go, what the hell is that? They're meant to grab your attention really, really quickly and get across something important that's going to make people actually stop and pay attention. So they're great for your engagement, they're great for reach because they're very easily shared, and they're also very, very good for establishing what you do and how good you are at it really, really quickly. So you can create memes of your own quotes. So one of the popular options to do with memes is to make really, really pretty visual representations of famous quotes. So quotes by your favourite celebrities, quotes by relevant experts in your niche, things of that nature. And they go down really, really well and they are great. But the better thing to do is to create the same kind of things, so lovely, beautiful images with text on when you are quoting yourself. So every time you write a blog post or record a vlog, every time you create any kind of content, you want to be pulling little bits out of it, just sort of like short sentences and little snappy things, and turning them into memes that you can then share, because it's just another way for you to repurpose that content that you've already created. So you're not having to reinvent the wheel, you're not having to create a whole, sort of new information and things to give people. It's the same content, you're just putting it in a different format and you're making it really, really easy for people to see it, to share it, and to digest what you're saying. The final one I wanted to mention for social media are questions. Now, questions are, I think, perhaps the best way of getting people engaged in your post and actually having a conversation. So you might want to say something really controversial and ask a question at the end of it. You might want to pick a particular pain point that all your ideal clients are struggling with and ask them, firstly, whether they're having problems with it, and secondly, how they deal with it. Or you might want to play sort of devil's advocate and pick something that you know is going to really, really irritate them. So ask them a question that you know is going to make them go a bit like, oh, I don't like that, and make them actually answer. And you can then make it clear that obviously you don't agree with the position that you took initially, you just wanted to know what everybody else thought about it, but it's a really, really good way of getting people talking. Another great form of content that you should definitely be using is email marketing. Now, I mentioned this very briefly when I was discussing webinars, and I mentioned autoresponder sequences, and that is one way that you can use email marketing, is to set up a series of emails that go out to people when they take certain actions. So if they sign up to your newsletter list, you might send them a series of emails welcoming them. If they sign up for a freebie, you might send them a series introducing them to that freebie and then upselling them something else. But beyond that, once you have people on your list, once you've got them on your emailing list, you need to be emailing them regularly. So you want to send out a weekly newsletter, and in that weekly newsletter you should have a roundup of all the content you've put out that week. So, if you only put out content once every 2 weeks, then you'll only do this once every 2 weeks. But I really do recommend that you try and publish content once a week. So a blog post a week, a vlog a week, both a week. Make sure you've got one or the other, or a podcast once a week, so that you can send out your weekly newsletter and say, this is my new post, here's the link to it. And you can include a snippet from the beginning to get people interested. You can include the whole thing in written form if you want, but just make sure you send it out, because it helps with your engagement, it helps with your reach, it keeps you front of mind for everybody on your list. It reminds them why they signed up to you in the first place and what you do, and it makes sure then that you can really kind of get your content out to as many people as possible. And of course, you're not limited to only sending out email marketing for existing content that you have. You can send out emails whenever you feel like it. So if you've got something that you particularly wanted to say but you maybe didn't want to blog about it, something that you wanted to share only with the people on your list, so sort of exclusive content that you had just for them. And of course, sales emails. So if you want to sell something or promote a particular offer that you have, or a service or something new that you're doing, email marketing is a great way of doing it. One kind of content that people often don't think of as content marketing, and one that they definitely don't see the huge potential in as a possible form of content marketing, are books. Now, I love books, that's no secret. I write them, I read them, I'm a voracious reader, I absolutely love books. But as far as content marketing goes, you can actually use books as a really, really strong form of content marketing. So I think probably the best example I can think of this, and I use her all the time as an example because she's brilliant at content marketing, is Denise Duffield-Thomas, who has to date got 2 books published. She's just signed a deal for the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. And she really has used her books as content marketing, rather than creating them as paid products that she wanted to sell. She created them as a form of marketing, and the fact that she earned money off them as well was a happy bonus. Okay, that's the way of looking at it. So that's not to say that you can't earn money from books that you write, you absolutely can, but if you're trying to use them as marketing tools, it's useful to approach it thinking of them as something that you are going to use to market your business, and that your focus is on making sure you get as much mileage out of them as possible in terms of marketing, rather than trying to make as much money out of them as possible. The 2 goals aren't mutually exclusive. You can use them as a marketing tool and make money off them at the same time, but normally your approach to selling them is very different depending on which you're trying to do. So if you want to use them as passive income, and that's your focus, is to create a passive income stream. That's a brilliant way of creating passive income, by the way, and it's a great thing to do for your business. But your strategy in marketing your book is going to be quite different to how it would be if your primary goal was to use your book as a form of content to market other products and services in your business. And if you sat there thinking, oh God, I couldn't possibly write a whole book, the funny thing about content marketing is once you start doing it, once you start regularly producing content, you can end up with a book a lot quicker than you think. If you write a weekly blog post, if you publish your blog every single week, after a year you'll have 56 posts. And if you're blogging properly, if you're really using a good blogging strategy, they will all be on relatively similar topics, okay? So you'll have a kind of a core subject that you stick to, and really all a book is a series of blog posts. When you think about it, if you equate a blog post with a chapter, you know, if you're writing sort of 2,000 word blog posts, that's a chapter. So every time you post a blog, you've essentially posted a chapter. So after you've got quite a bit of content amassed, you can go through all the content you've got and you can turn it into a book. Now, I really don't suggest that people just sort of cut and paste. I have seen people that do this. They literally get their blog posts, they shove them together and they publish them as a book without doing anything else with them. And I do not recommend you do that, because it will really irritate the people reading the book, especially if they've already followed your posts. So they've already read the post, they want something more than that. So you need to, you know, you need to put a bit of effort into it. You need to find a coherent theme. You need to put them together in an order that makes sense. You need to edit them. When you come to edit them, you'll probably find that you have more to say than you did when you first wrote them. So that's especially true if quite a bit of time's passed since you first wrote the post or first created the post. You'll have had people commenting on your content. You'll have had you know, people engaging with it on social media. You'll have maybe had clients that you've spoken to about similar topics before, or you'll just have learned more or thought more about it yourself. So you will naturally find when you come to kind of put all your content together and try and make a book out of it, that you have more to say, and you should definitely say it. So don't just take the easy option, cut and paste all your posts, stick them together and think it makes a book. It doesn't. It does take a bit of effort, but it is well worth it, and it gives you a form of content that is just super versatile and so valuable. So you can take the first chapter or two of your book, you can put it in a nice PDF, you can use it as an opt-in freebie, and you have an absolutely massive list builder there, giving away the first few chapters of your book for free. Does wonders for building your list, and you have a built-in upsell that's right there. You give the first couple of chapters away for free, people read them, and it's natural for them to then want to buy the book. Okay, that is the easiest upsell you will ever do in your entire life, and if you do it right, you're smart about it, you'll make the subject of your book something that naturally leads into, promotes or explains something else that you're trying to sell that's worth an awful lot more. So this works really well if you have a course that you're trying to promote, that you're trying to sell, you know, sort of a paid program that's quite expensive. So programs, you know, they're normally at least a few £100s, if not even more, and you're creating, by writing this book version or an introduction to it, you are creating the perfect funnel, because you have, by creating the book, got the opt-in that will get people on your list, you have the email sequence that you need to upsell them to the program, with an easy upsell for them to take one step up and go from the free chapter to the paid book, and then from the paid book to the paid product or service. So this works really well. Books as content marketing is a total no-brainer. It is the simplest thing in the world. It is so effective. And the only reason that everybody isn't doing it is because, I will not lie, writing and producing a book is tough. If you're creating one completely from scratch and writing it about a very specific subject, it's really hard to do. And even if you're essentially collating content that you've already created and turning it into a coherent book, that takes time, it takes effort, and if you want to do a really sort of professional job, you'll need to have it edited, you'll need to have it proofread, you'll need to have it professionally formatted. If you want to create physical copies of it rather than just selling it as an ebook, you know, you'll need to find a printer. So there's a lot to think about when it comes to creating books. It's not a quick process, and if you don't already know what you're doing, it's not an easy process. But the good news is I've already done it many times, so if I can do it, anybody can. Now the final kind of content marketing that I want to talk to you about is kind of a mashup of all of the others that I've talked about so far, and that is the mini course. Now I've mentioned webinars, I've mentioned paid courses, and I've mentioned video marketing. This is basically all of those things rolled into one. What you want to do is create a short series of videos or webinars that form a mini course that people can have as part of an autoresponder sequence over the course of 3 or 4, maybe 5 days. I wouldn't go any longer than that. If you want to do a webinar, do a webinar. If you want to do a mini course, do a mini course. The mini course itself is one of the best kinds of lead magnets you can ever create. So you don't need to create a lead magnet to get people to sign up to the lead magnet, okay? The mini course is the lead magnet. So if you want to do a webinar, then great, but you don't need to do a webinar in order to promote the mini course. Unless, of course, you want to charge for your mini course, in which case, go for it. So a mini course really is a combination of so many different kinds of content marketing. You will want to create it in video format, ideally. You can just do it as a written sequence of emails that you send out. But ideally you will want to create 4 or possibly 5 videos. You will want to send them out in a series of marketing emails and have them available on your website for people to watch on your website. Ideally also with extra things for them to download that go with it. So one of the best things you can do is create a workbook for people to download at the beginning of the first video and then write in and work through as they watch the mini course. Other kinds of content that you can use are checklists or workflows, anything that helps people action what you're teaching them in the mini course. So a lot of people get really nervous at the notion of giving away a whole course for free. It feels like you're giving away all your best stuff. You're wasting an opportunity to make money. It takes quite a lot of work to create one, and you know, it can take a bit of money to set it up, especially if you're not very good at doing the technical stuff yourself and you have to outsource that to somebody, so you may have to pay someone to do that for you. So when you've gone to all that effort of creating it, possibly the expense of, you know, getting it set up as well, it can feel quite counterproductive to then just give it away for free. But if you are trying to promote anything of substance, so if you're trying to promote a big course that's costing a few £100 or more, if you're trying to promote you know, sort of a premium service that you offer that's worth hundreds and hundreds of pounds or more, anything that's, you know, sort of quite tough to get people to buy into, because you need to be able to really, really clearly demonstrate the value that they're going to get out of something. So you need to be able to make them see and feel and understand exactly how good this thing that you're asking them to pay that much money for is going to be and exactly what it's going to do for them. This is what you use the mini course for, because it's your opportunity to really, really show your stuff and to really make people understand that although it's an investment that they should absolutely be making, because it's going to be so worth it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Do please comment below and let me know what your favourite kind of content marketing is. If you have any questions, ask, and I will see you next week.